There's this really specific kind of hollow feeling. I think almost everyone recognizes it. It's not like the panic of a real emergency.
Yeah.
It's quieter than that. It's that feeling you get. Maybe it's a Tuesday morning, payday was a few days ago, and you open your banking app, you look at the number, and you just think, wait, where did it all go?
The Paycheck Paradox.
Exactly. It feels like this awful magic trick where the rabbit disappears and takes your rent money with it.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, you know the math should work. You know what you earn. You know what your bills are. On a spreadsheet, you look totally fine.
But in reality, you're hovering near zero. It's a sinking feeling.
It is.
And before we go any further, I just want to validate that feeling, because if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. We pulled some pretty stark statistics for this deep dive. They show that over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
And I think the common assumption, the knee-jerk reaction, is to say, well, it's an income problem. If people just made more money, it would all go away.
That is the assumption, yeah. But the data tells a really different story. This is happening to high earners, too. We're talking people making six figures who are technically broke at the end of the month.
So that brings us to the core of this whole deep dive then. If the math works on paper but fails in practice, the problem isn't the math.
The problem is the software running the math. It's us.
It's psychological.
Precisely. It's not about what you earn. It's about these invisible scripts running in the background of your brain. So today isn't about, budgeting tips or which coupon app to download.
Right, no skipping lattes.
No.
Oh.
We are going to identify the 7 specific money mindset traps that sabotage your wealth before you even open your wallet.
Okay, so before we get to the list, we had to talk about maybe the biggest trap of all. It's the label we slap on ourselves. I've said it, I'm pretty sure I've said it twice this month already. I'm just bad with money.
Oh, we've all said it. It sounds so harmless, right?
Yeah, just a bit of self-deprecation.
But we found this really great insight from a writer, Martha Lawton. She identifies this as a fixed mindset.
A fixed mindset. Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It means you're treating your financial skills like your height or your eye color, something innate that you just can't change.
It's like saying, I have blue eyes and I'm bad with money. They're just facts of nature.
Exactly. And that belief, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, if you believe you're permanently incompetent with money, why would you even try to learn about investing? Why bother with a budget?
You've already given up. You've decided you can't do it.
Right. You give up before you even start.
So the alternative is a growth mindset. That sounds a little bit like corporate jargon, but what does it mean here?
It's just a shift in language. So instead of I'm bad with money, you say, I am currently learning to track my spending.
It puts the control back in your hands.
It shifts the agency back to you. So our mission today is to move from that fixed mindset by exposing these 7 traps. And we have to start with the first one because it's deeply biological. It actually changes how your brain functions.
Okay, let's get into the neuroscience. Trap number 1, the scarcity mindset. Now, is this just a fancy way of saying being broke?
No, and that is such a crucial distinction. Scarcity is the feeling of lack. You can have plenty of money in the bank and still operate from a scarcity mindset. It's the belief that there's just never enough. Not enough time, money, resources.
Okay.
And there's this fascinating study that used fMRI scans to see what literally happens inside the brain when you're in that state.
So we can actually see the hardware glitching. What did the scans show?
Okay, so when people felt that resources were scarce, activity shot up in a place called the orbitofrontal cortex, the OFC.
And for those of us who didn't major in neurology, the OFC is in charge of what?
Think of it as your brain's valuation center. It's the part that obsesses over the immediate worth of things.
So how much does this cost? Is it worth it? Can I get it cheaper somewhere else?
Exactly. It's hyper-focused on price tags and immediate trade-offs.
That sounds kind of responsible. I mean, shouldn't we be looking at price tags?
In a vacuum, yes. But here's the kicker. While that OFC is all lit up, activity decreases in another area. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex.
And that's the part responsible for
long-term planning, goal-directed choices, complex problem solving.
Wow. So the scarcity mindset literally makes you dumber.
It taxes your cognitive bandwidth. Think of it like your computer running a massive background update.
There's less processing power for everything else.
Exactly. You get so focused on the tiger in front of you, paying this one bill, getting through this one week, that you neurologically lose the ability to plan for the future. You can't think about next year because your brain won't let you.
That explains that tunnel vision feeling so perfectly. When you're stressed about money, you make bad decisions. Not because you're stupid, but because you literally can't see the big picture.
That's the tunneling. And the fix, according to the sources, is to shift to an abundance mentality.
Okay, I'll be honest, that sounds a little woo-woo, like just manifest abundance.
It can sound that way, I know. But scientifically, it's about managing your bandwidth. It means forcing yourself to focus on opportunities and growth instead of limitations.
So instead of thinking, I have to protect what I have, you ask, how can I create more?
Exactly. It's hard, but it re-engages that long-term planning part of your brain.
Okay, so if scarcity makes us obsess over the numbers,
Right.
trap number 2 is the complete opposite. And I am definitely guilty of this one. We call it the Ostrich Effect.
Or avoiding numbers, the classic out of sight, out of mind trap. This is a huge one.
It's that specific anxiety where you know the bank balance is low, so you don't look.
Yeah.
Because if you look, it makes it real.
Right. But that avoidance creates this vicious feedback loop. The stronger your urge to ignore it, the heavier the burden actually becomes.
Yeah.
You avoid the quick sting of looking, but you create this massive, vague anxiety that just follows you around all day.
It's the monster in the closet. As long as the door is shut, it could be anything.
Exactly. And the fix is pretty blunt. It's exposure. You have to consciously engage what Daniel Kahneman calls system 2 thinking, your rational, slow brain.
So just look.
Just look.
That's at a time.
Tuesday, 9 a.m. Open the app, look at the number. The anticipation is almost always worse than the reality. Once you see the number, even if it's bad, it stops being a ghost and starts being a math problem. And you can solve a math problem.
You can't solve a ghost.
I like
I like that. Okay, moving on to trap number 3. This one hits the younger crowd pretty hard. The I'll fix it later trap, or retirement denial.
Ah, yes. Classic procrastination. The sources we looked at really highlighted this. There's this belief that retirement or financial trouble is so far in the future that it doesn't matter today. It feels like a problem for future you.
But the math says future you is going to be pretty mad at current you.
The math is brutal on this one. Fidelity Investments suggests, and this might sting a little, that you should have 1 times your annual salary saved by age 30.
Oof. I bet a lot of listeners just flinched. That is a high bar.
It is. But the point isn't to shame anyone who missed it. It's to show the real cost of later. If you miss your 20s for investing, you miss the most powerful years of compound growth.
The trap is thinking, I'll save more when I earn more.
Right. And the fix is realizing that later is the most expensive thing you can possibly buy. You have to start small now, just to break the paralysis.
Okay, let's pivot to how we spend. Trap number 4. Emotional and impulse spending. We've all heard of retail therapy.
This is where we have to talk about dopamine. When you're stressed or bored, buying something gives you that quick chemical hit. It's a temporary fix. But one of the sources pointed out something really important about how we pay.
This is the pain of paying idea, right?
Yes, from behavioral economics. When you pay with cash, you physically hand something over. You see it leave your wallet. It triggers a small feeling of loss.
A micro loss. That's the pain of paying. It's like a natural break on your spending.
It is. But we don't use cash much anymore, do we? We tap a card or a phone. And credit cards completely decouple the joy of buying from the pain of paying. You get the dopamine hit now. The pain doesn't come until the bill arrives weeks later.
It's financial anesthesia.
That is a perfect metaphor. It numbs the pain of the transaction. So if you're prone to retail therapy, using a card is basically removing the only safety valve your brain has.
So what's the fix? I'm standing in the store, I've got the full online cart, and I know I'm just stressed. What do I do?
You need a cooling off period. The rule of thumb is 24 to 48 hours. Just wait. Usually the emotional trigger, the stress or boredom, it'll pass. And the urge to buy just fades away with it.
I've tried that. It's amazing how 2 days later I'll look at the item and think, why on earth did I want a professional grade panini press?
That's your rational brain waking up from its dopamine nap.
Okay, trap number 5. This one is just amplified like crazy by social media. Keeping up with others.
Or status spending. This is the money status script, the deep belief that your self-worth equals your net worth.
Or, maybe more accurately, that your self-worth equals what people think your net worth is.
Exactly. One source even described a spending addiction, where people spend just to feel like they belong to a certain community of spenders.
It's fear-based then. The fear that if I don't have the new car or the vacation photos, I'll lose my social standing. I'll be found out.
It's the fear of being left behind. It's FOMO weaponized. You aren't just comparing yourself to your neighbor anymore. You're comparing yourself to the curated highlight reels of thousands of influencers.
So the fix is, what, a digital detox?
It's aggressive curation. Unsubscribe from the marketing emails. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel poor. You have to realize that money status is a hollow goal. It's a race with no finish line.
A race with no finish line. That leads right into trap number 6, which is a specific kind of status trap, lifestyle inflation.
Ah, yes. The myth that you have to spend money to make money.
This one is so dangerous because it sounds like good business advice.
It does. In a business, you invest capital to grow. But people apply that to their personal lives. They think they need to project wealth to attract wealth.
I need the luxury car so clients will take me seriously.
Exactly. But it just leads to a lifestyle that outpaces your income. The reality is that truly wealthy people focus on the gap.
The gap between what you earn and what you spend.
That's the whole game. They focus on investing, not displaying. If you spend everything you make trying to look rich, you are guaranteeing you will never actually be rich.
It's the difference between looking wealthy and being wealthy. Okay, bringing us home with trap number 7. This is the one that stops people from even getting started. The small change fallacy.
This is the belief that I don't have enough money to invest, so why even bother?
Right. You look at what's left over at the end of the month. Maybe it's $50, maybe it's $20, and you think, this is nothing. It won't make a difference. Might as well spend it.
It goes right back to that fixed mindset we talked about. I'm not an investor. Investors have thousands of dollars to play with. But it completely ignores the math of compound interest and the psychology of habit building.
So what do the sources say?
Baby steps. Use a micro-investing app. Turn on roundups. The goal isn't to get rich off that $20. The goal is to build the identity of an investor.
You're just breaking the paralysis.
You are. You can scale the amount later, but you can't scale zero.
You can't scale zero. I love that. Okay, let's recap. We've got scarcity, avoidance, procrastination, emotional spending, status seeking, lifestyle inflation, and the small change fallacy.
That is a lot of psychological minefields. It's a wonder any of us save anything at all.
It really is. So let's pivot to the solution. How do we actually start to rewire this? Because the sources mention a lot of this stuff comes from our childhood. Right?
It's the root cause. These are called money scripts. We learn them before we can even do long division.
Can you give me an example of a childhood script?
Sure. Imagine a child who sees money constantly being taken away. Maybe debt collectors or family emergencies. They might learn the script, saving is futile.
Why save it if it's just going to disappear anyway?
Exactly. So as an adult, even with a good job, they spend money immediately because their brain is screaming, use it before you lose it.
Or maybe a child learns that love is expressed through expensive gifts.
Then they grow up and overspend on friends and family because that's the only way they know how to show affection. And because these are emotional lessons, they bypass our logic. It goes back to Kahneman, the animal mind versus the rational mind. Money is emotional before it is logical.
That urge to impulse buy or that panic to avoid your bank balance, that's the animal mind taking over.
Totally. So you can't just think your way out of it with a spreadsheet. In that moment of panic, a spreadsheet is useless.
So what's the intervention?
We have to go back to that idea of the growth mindset. You have to consciously rewrite the script.
What does that look like practically? What's step 1?
First, identify. Which of the 7 traps we just discussed really triggered you? Which one made you cringe?
Just naming it. That's your trap.
Just naming it reduces its power. So that's step 1.
Okay, and step 2.
Pause. This is the crucial step. It's about letting your rational mind catch up. When that urge hits, the urge to spend or the urge to avoid, you just do nothing. Count to 10. Wait 24 hours.
Buy yourself time.
You have to buy yourself time because the animal mind is fast and the rational mind is slow.
And step 3.
Start small. Don't try to fix your entire financial life in one day. That just leads to burnout. Aim for progress, not perfection.
Save $5. Check your balance once a week.
Little things. Prove to yourself that you can change the behavior. It's all about building that confidence with small wins.
It is.
And I really want to reiterate something important for everyone listening. If you recognized yourself in any of this, you are not broken. You are not bad with money.
You're just never taught how to think about it.
Exactly. We teach algebra and history, but we almost never teach the psychology of money. We've gone from the neuroscience of scarcity to the psychology of status. These traps are invisible, But now that you have names for them, you can start to see them.
And if you can see them, you can break them.
You can.
That is the perfect place to leave it. We've unpacked the science, the traps, and the fixes. But before we go, we always want to leave you with one final thought to chew on.
We've talked a lot about net worth and self-worth today, so here is the question. If you stripped away your bank account balance today, if the number just went to zero, what would your money script say you are worth? And more importantly, is that script actually yours, or did you inherit it from someone else?
Thanks for diving deep with us. See you next time.